Good afternoon and welcome back. In today's video, we are going to address one more issue that many of us are facing, and that is with the petrol management software. I'm sure all of the vessels already have this RFID device with which the people are going at all the places during the times they are supposed to go there, and they are doing the RFID fire patrol with this device. Now, generally, the issue starts when either the time on the device is not properly updated, the time on your computer is not properly updated, or your plans are not properly updated. So I am going to guide you through each and every step today so that the reports are generated properly and they are uploaded properly in the VMA. The first thing that you have to do is you have to set up your computer time. And by that, what I mean to say is that you have to right click on your clock, you have to go to adjust date time, and then you just have to change the time zone. I'm not talking about changing the time of the computer. The time of the computer should keep on synchronizing with the VMA. Please do not change that setting. Only thing you have to change is the time zone and in which your vessel is currently. For example, we are in time zone UTC plus 6 at this moment, and that is exactly what we have selected over here. This is the first thing. If you are not going to do it properly, your fire patrol will not be generated properly, and then there will be errors and omissions, and your software will tell you that you haven't done the thing properly. Then you have to open your petrol management software. I'm sure all of you have already installed it on your systems and you have already configured your device properly. You have to double click on the petrol management software. The username you will select is the supervisor. It is already there. You don't have to do anything. If it's not there, you have to just select the drop down menu and select supervisor if more logins are already created, which I'm sure there are not. The password is 999. That is what I'm going to enter over here, and I press login and the software will open in front of you. Next thing what we have to do is we have to connect your petrol device with your computer. This cable is already connected with the computer. I'll just connect it with the device. There will be a small sound in the CPU indicating that the device has been connected. Now the next thing that you have to do, because the ships keep on changing the time zone as and when required, you have to click on the reader timing. But before clicking this, you have to ensure that the time zone is correctly selected in the clock of your computer. I'll click on this one and it will say time is successful, current time is whatever the time is. This thing is very necessary. If you do not do that, your all petrol setups and everything that you've done will be useless, because then the timings generated at which the people have taken the fire patrol rounds will be completely redundant. Once this timing is updated, next thing we have to do is we have to click on the read data, because we have just connected our device with the computer, so it's time to read the data from the device. I'll click on that one. It will read the complete data, and it says no data in the reader right now because I have already imported the data. In case you have not imported the data before, your data will be imported, and you will press OK. Next will be the petrol report. This is exactly the place where a report is generated. But there is one step that you guys have to do before all of this. All right, and that is you have to do the petrol setup. If the petrol setup is not done correctly, nothing will be generated over here. And the petrol setup needs to be done before importing the data from the device. So how we will do the petrol setup? We all know that on vessels we have the state when the engine room is manned, and we all know there is a state where the engine room is UMS, and that is generally at sea. For the ease of everyone, what we have done is we have made 4 petrol setup plans. One is for the deck when engine room is manned, one is for the deck when engine room is UMS, one is for the engine room when the engine room is manned, and one is for the engine room when the engine room is UMS. Once you make these 4 petrol setups, all the things will fall in place. Okay, but remember, this has to be done before anything, before importing your first data. In case you have imported your first data and then you do your petrol setup, then your plans will not be shown for today's date. They'll be shown after 24 hours when the fire patrol is done, after the plans have been generated. So you have to generate them even before importing the data for the first time. Right now we have the 4 plans. The plan name, the first plan name that I've given is manned at sea, port, by deck. That means the state of the vessel is manned at sea or either in port, and the fire patrol is to be taken by the deck department. And then there is petrol schedule. The second plan is manned at sea, port by engine, which means the state of the vessel is manned. It can be either sea or at port, and the fire patrol is to be done by the engine department. Number 3 is at sea, UMS by deck. That is, the vessel is at sea, the engine room is UMS, and the fire patrol is done by the deck. And then at sea, actually I should write at sea at port, because at the anchorage also we are at UMS, but so I'll obviously have to change it, and the round will be done by the engine room. Okay, now one thing we recommend over here is that this plan name that you generate, please write it in small letters, not in the capital letters, because what we have seen is that when you generate the plan name in capital letters and you finally export the PDF, the plan name is so long that half of that is unreadable, which means that the person who is reading your report cannot read your fire patrol timings in context to the vessel status at that time. Once you write it in small letters, this full plan name will be visible, and the person who will be reading the plan, he'll be able to make out the context of all of those fire patrols. For example, I'm going to add a new plan just for the sake of letting everyone know. Once I go to add a new plan, I have to first give the plan a name. I'll give it at C/port and UMS. That is going to be the vessel status, that the vessel is UMS, and now I'll give it a name that either it has to be done by the engine department or the deck department. So I'll just write engine. That's enough. Once that is done, I have to add the checkpoint names. Of course, you have to add the names one by one. The relevant checkpoints have to be added. But for the sake of this plan, I'm just going to press add all. And just to let you know, these all checkpoints, I'm sure you already have configured in your software before coming to this tab. That is what I'm already assuming. After adding the checkpoints, I have to go to the second tab, which is the patrol schedule. And here I will add a schedule. For example, I'm going to add a timing. So I already know that in the UMS hours, the engineers or the engine ratings have to take around from 2300 to 2315. And if you have configured the guards, you can put the guard name also, and I'll press confirm. So this is the schedule of the engine department fire patrol rounds from 2300 to 2315 at these of the checkpoints. Remember, you have to edit them and you have to correctly configure them. For the sake of tutorial, I have added all of the checkpoints, but in reality, it will not be all of the checkpoints. During this time, this person has to do at these checkpoints, and I'll press confirm. Once I've done that, this new plan will be added at C port UMS engine. Of course, I'm going to delete it for now, but I hope you get the gist of it. You have to make 4 plans: manned at C port by deck, manned at C port by engine, at C at port UMS by deck, at C at port UMS by engine. These are the 4 plans you have to configure, and you have to make these plans before importing your first data. Otherwise, your plans will not be exported. As all the plans are in order, I'll press the exit button. And assuming that you have already imported the data here, I'm going to go to the basic operations tab. Now I have to export the report. For example, today is 11th of January 2024. I know that the fire patrols have been carried out until 7:15 in the morning. So obviously the end time will be 11th, not 12th. It's going to be 11th. For the sake of safety, what I've done is I have selected 1 hour prior to our first fire patrol. First fire patrol is at 2000. I have selected the time 1900. Last fire patrol for the night will be 0715. So I have selected 0800. Okay. Next thing we have to select is the plan name. We are at C, vessel was UMS. So I'll select these 2 plans, UMS by deck, UMS by engine. Then the next tab is checkpoint name. Please do not select anything here, otherwise a very weird kind of report will be generated, so you don't want to do that. And there's no need to select anything in the reader code. Data type should be all data. Patrol time, minute 0 to 60, it's fine. Don't change anything else except for the first 3 things. You have to press the inquiry. Now it says no inquiry data. I'll tell you what is the reason, but first of all, let me tell you why inquiry is done. Inquiry is done to make sure that your report is generated properly, and you can easily make out if the fire patrols have been done at the proper time. It is saying no inquired data because just before making these tutorials, I have changed the plan names to small letters. My names were in capital letters. And as I told you, once you change anything in the plan, the first plan that you'll be able to export will be after 24 hours. So obviously I'm not able to export everyone because we have already exported today's fire patrol already. In case you haven't done that and 24 hours have been elapsed after you have generated all the plans, inquiry will reveal all the fire patrols that have been carried out. Just for addressing your curiosity, this is the report that we have generated today. Okay, this is 10 January, 11 January, and the report will be like this. And this was one mistake that was done by one of our motormen. He took one of the rounds of one places 3 minutes prior to when he was supposed to do it, and that is why this IgG inert gas, it is not showing over here. The person has been already addressed by the chief officer, so I hope this will not be done. So this is how your report will be generated, and this is how it will look in the inquiry as well. You will have all of these reports. For example, we are supposed to do the fire patrols 5 times during the night. We go back to the software, we go to the patrol report. Once inquiry is done and the reports are already here in this section, you have to press export PDF. Just for an example, I will export this one. Once you press export PDF, a window like this will appear. Of course, this is not the report that you have to generate. You have to generate the report from the Petrol report, and after selecting the desired plans. I am just pressing this one to let you guys know how the PDF is exported. In the export settings, you have to select the compressed. If you will not do that, the PDF size will be more. If you select compressed, the PDF size will be smaller. And we press OK. Once we press OK, it will save it wherever you like, on your desktop if there is any folder, or in your documents if there is any folder that you have already created. And once the report is saved over there, then what we have to do is, in the VMA, of course, I have to log in. Okay, we have to go to the safety tab, and then we will select Fire Petrol Log, which is fourth one from the bottom, F6A6B. And then we have to obviously press the add button. Once we do that, here are some important instructions that you have to go through. Go at the computer where Petrol software is installed. Change the time to LT. We already did that. Inside the Petrol software, once you're ready to export the file, click Export PDF and make sure you check Compressed Option button, which we have already done. Use an appropriate file name, for example, Petrol report for March 28, 2023. We additionally add the name of the vessel as well for the easy reference of everyone, but make sure that you follow these format correctly. After the export, make sure you revert the time back to the UTC. And this time that the software is talking about is the time of the computer. Okay, we have to revert it back to UTC plus 0000. Time in UTC, I'll write 0600. I'll press browse again. This again, save draft. Okay, and now it has saved in draft. And now when I'll browse, it should be okay. The file is uploaded. So you have to save everything in draft first, and then you can upload the file. And then again, you can save as draft if you want to check it again. And if you want to just save and send, you can press save and send, and that will be the end of the story. So this is the correct way. You have to correctly configure your computer for the local time. You have to configure your device for the local time after pressing that red button that I showed you. Then you have to import the data. Before importing your first data, make sure that your plans are in place. And once your plans are in place, then in the Petrol log, you have to select the plans for which you want the data to be exported. You have to press the inquiry button in order to see everything, and once you're ready to export, you have to press export as PDF, select the compressed version, export to desktop or wherever you want to, give it a proper name, and then upload it in the VMA. I hope today's video was helpful, and I hope that it will help you in your future endeavors with the petroling device. With a wish for the smooth seas and tailwinds, I hope today's video was helpful. Take good care of yourself and take good care of your surroundings. It's goodbye for now.